Welcome to this quick tutorial on labor pricing for profit software. Over the last several weeks and months, I've gotten several questions on, Bill, we created this cash flow budget in the labor pricing for profit software. How do I get that into QuickBooks and let QuickBooks do what it was designed to do? Well, the process is actually very simple. That's the exact process that we recommend in every one of our Planning for Profit workshops. So let me walk you through it real quick and show you exactly how it happens. So first off, you can see I'm in the labor pricing for profit software. I've got my sample company loaded up here. It's the standard business model. This is my live active copy. So I'm simply going to go down to the bottom left corner into reports, and the third icon down from the top is my monthly cash flow. So I'll run that report, and when it pops up, remember that whatever's highlighted at the top is what we're displaying at the bottom on this report. So I'm simply going to highlight all departments. I want to basically be entering in the complete cash flow budget for my entire company. So all departments pops up. We're simply going to click on the print icon here in the corner. When we do that, we can then go ahead and select our printer, and I'm going to print a physical copy of this particular report. So I can go ahead and do that, hit print, and we're all set to go. We've got that printed off. Now, I've kind of short-circuited this a little bit in that I've already printed a copy of this off, so I don't have to run and get it off the printer. How's that for a quick printer, right? So I've got this set. I'm now going to simply jump over to QuickBooks, and we'll walk through the balance of it on this side. Now, again, you can see in QuickBooks, I've already got my sample company loaded up here. The same company that we've got, Larry's Landscaping. It's in place and ready to go. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into Companies on my top toolbar. And when I choose that, I'm going to go down to Planning and Budgeting. When I hover over that, I'm going to see two options. One is Set Up Budgets. The other one is Cash Flow Projector. Go ahead and click on Set Up Budgets. And it's going to start out now. If you've created a budget at any time in the past, it may jump right to this screen. Otherwise, it'll start to walk you through the wizard to create the budget. If you get this screen, what we're going to do is simply click on, in the upper right-hand corner, we're going to click on Create a New Budget. And so it's going to start walking us through the wizard to set up this new budget. First thing you want to do is simply choose what year are you creating the budget for. So in our case, it's 2018. Underneath, what type of budget do you want? Well, we want a profit and loss budget. We want all the month-by-month activity throughout the entire year. Now we can click on Next down below. And then it's going to ask us, what additional profit and loss budget criteria do you want? Simply choose No Additional Criteria. And hit Next down below one more time. Now, again, with a new budget, the nice part about it is it gives us some options. So with this point, we have two different options in how we want to create our budget. The first one is create a budget from scratch. In other words, it's going to have you enter in all of the information, all of the numbers, all the way down the list, and basically you're starting from scratch. The other option that's available is to create a budget from the previous year's actual data. Now, if you followed our recommendation in the Planning for Profit workshop or in the tutorials, we said to enter in your fixed overhead expenses, your variable overhead expenses, exactly the way that they show up on your profit and loss statement. So the advantage here is, since we built your projection for next year off of last year, we can use some of those same numbers, and it actually saves us from having to enter them in all over again. So I'm going to choose Create Budget from the previous year's actual data. I can click Finish down below, and you can see it's now created my budget, and it's actually pulled in the numbers from the previous year in my particular case, and now I can just either use them or I can edit them in the areas that I need to. So in my particular case, I'm going to start out. We've got our decks and patios. I'm going to enter in the revenue. Now, once I choose, in this case, January, right, I can see that I've highlighted that. Just hit your tab key, and it will bounce you from month to month to month. So in January, I have no projected revenue. February, no revenue. March, no revenue. Right. Then in April, we're going to have $5,000. May, $5,000. In June, we're going to go up to about $8,000. July, $8,000. August, we're going to have $10,000. And then we start bringing it back down here again for a little bit for the fall. October is going to be about $2,500, and nothing in November and December. Now you'll notice that I'm still highlighted in December. When I hit the tab key one more time again, it bounces me right to January for the next general ledger account number, in this case fountains. So literally you can walk right across your profit and loss statement, that printout that you have, and enter in the detail all the way through. And so that it goes in really pretty quickly. Again, especially if you entered in the data exactly as it showed up on your P&L, if you entered it in that way in your labor pricing for profit software. Now, just remember the two differences between cash flow and accounting. QuickBooks, again, is accounting. From the cash flow perspective, the two major differences, the first one was depreciation. We've got that line item right here. In our particular case, remember depreciation is always 25 to 35% less than your actual equipment replacement costs. We're going to enter in the actual equipment replacement costs on this line. When you run your actual budget versus actual reports, just keep that one in mind, that there's going to be a discrepancy. The second area is interest expense. That's the second one that's going to be different. Remember, the accounting side only accounts for the interest that you paid on a loan. It doesn't account for any principal payment. We're going to enter in the entire loan payment here, so it's going to be higher than what you actually have. But again, just remember that when you run your reports, there will be that discrepancy here. So that's the second area. When we're done with it, we can go ahead and hit in the bottom right-hand corner and hit Save. And then we can go ahead and say, okay, it'll close out this budget. Now, the nice part about this is once that's created once, you're done for the year. At the end of each month, I can now go into Reports, and I'm simply going to go down to Budgets, and I'm going to choose Budget versus Actual. It's going to ask me, okay, which budget do you want to compare it against? I want to compare it against 2018. I hit Next. It's going to ask me, what report layout do you want? Right? In my case, account by month is on this is typically what you want to use. And then you can go ahead and click on Next and Finish. And it's going to go ahead and create your budget versus actual report. In this case, it's January through December. Right? I can go ahead if I want to, and I can say I want it just for the month of January. I can say just for a given month. Right? So I'm going to say I want just last month. Right, and at that point, it's giving me just at this point the one particular month that we're going to be looking at. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and put in the actual dates here. So January 31st of 18. All right, we plug those in, and I see my budget versus actual for just 2018. Now, in some cases, I don't really want all these columns, right? I can see in January 2018, the first column is showing me what I actually spent in each of these areas or brought in. The budget is what I entered in off of my budget, and then I've got the percent dollar over or under the budget, and then the actual dollars over and under the budget, and the percent. Sometimes we don't want all these extra columns there. Again, I can shut some of those off simply by going up to the upper left-hand corner, clicking on Customize Report, and say, oh, I don't want the percent of budget there. I can shut that one off right here in this Add Subcolumns For area, and I say OK, and it modifies my report. So I can see exactly how I compared to my budget. Run this report every single month, see how you're tracking in regards to your numbers. And if you have any questions as you're walking through this process, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can either contact me directly at BillKennard@GrandyAssociates.com or call our office at 877-202-8891. And hey, make a decision to make it a profitable day.